we go.
Okay, Rashad, good to go.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again for joining our webinar. So we will talk about the cost control and project planning. So this is a webinar of our training course. So we hope you will get some useful information and you will expand your knowledge on cost control and project planning. We will talk. Each of us will talk about his section. I'm I'm the cost controller. I will talk about the cost, and Elshad will talk about the planning. So we'll also give the time at the end of the webinar for the questions. But meanwhile, you can so on the webinar you can put your questions so you don't forget them in a question and answer section. So yeah, if Elshad, you can go to the next slide. Yeah, so both this is our agenda. So we will Elshad will walk through the project management part. So what we do in the project management as a project control, what is even project management? So the framework, how many roles do we have in a project control except planning and cost control? So also Elshad will walk through about the project stages, and then I will take a lead and we'll talk about the cost control. So this will be again introduction. So what is the responsibilities for the cost control? Um, so if you will join our training course after, what you will have as a content, as a methodology, what you will learn from this session about the tools that cost control is using. And also we will just share like 1-2 slide about the current jobs that we have in Europe, in UK, in Azerbaijan, and so maybe you don't interested about the roles in Azerbaijan, yeah, but so we will have that information as well. Yeah, and then the same, with the same content, Elshad will talk about the project. So yeah, that will be introduction, that will be roles and responsibility, course content, and same information about the current jobs in the UK and in the Europe. Eshat, if you can go to the next slide. Yeah, just briefly about myself. So I have started this cost control experience in Saipem. It was I was based in Baku, Azerbaijan. So that was from contractor side. So I have spent there like 4 years. Then I moved to uh, Ubok. So Ubok is the company, the under company of the state oil company of Azerbaijan Republic. So it's client company. And so I've spent there like 3 years. Now it will be 4 years that I'm in BP. So like in a summary, so I have like 10+ year experience in this role. And about my education, so I did my bachelor degree in economy. So that was in Azerbaijan State Oil and Industry University. Then in the same university, I did my MBA. And at the moment, I'm currently doing my PhD. Hopefully, will finish in 2 years. Hopefully. Okay, Elshad, and you can just continue with yourself. You're on mute, Elshad.
Hi, sorry that I was on. So I'm Elshad Sainli. Just brief information about me. I will be um, I'll be responsible for the project planning part of this presentation. So first, my education. I started my bachelor degree in Azerbaijan, Kafkas University, and industrial engineering, and then I recently graduated and did my master's degree. It is an MBA, still in Azerbaijan. My experience is, I would say, 10 plus years in planning engineering because I only worked as a planner in Azerbaijan, in Kazakhstan, Subsea 7 in Dubai. I can write here. And also for a short term, I worked in Italy for Saipem, but it was outsourced. And now I work and live in the Netherlands. So from this experience, from this, let's say, career path, I have experience in civil construction, steel construction, and mainly oil and gas, and also pipeline onshore and offshore. So vast amount of, let's say, experience and companies. So now I will try to give a brief information about project management. And then Mehdi will go through the cost control. Then afterwards, I will continue with project planning. So I have to explain this a bit, like it will be like 2-3 minutes introduction to the project management, because you have to know what stage are there so that we can explain in what stage what cost controls do and then what planners do. So introduction to the project management. What's a project? Actually, everything what we do even in a day is a project. For example, for you to join to this meeting is a short, let's say, short-term project that you planned your day. That I will do this. I will join to this webinar and learn something or just listen to something. But what is the definition of the project? Project is a set of temporary activities. Temporary is the key, let's say, specific, let's say, properties, one of the properties of the project. So it should be temporary. So temporary activities carried out with the aim of producing a unique. And the second main core object is unique. Should be temporary and unique. Product or service. So product can be like in oil and gas or in construction, a building. But services, you can have some services, of course, because, for example, United Nations, they perform a project, but in the result, you don't see any building or any platform or anything. You just see a service there, or government, they do services. So temporary means it should have a beginning and end, and the product should be unique. You can say you have like lots of same buildings. Are they unique? Yes. Every product is unique as of now. For example, if you see Twin Towers in, it was a building for there is in Kuala Lumpur, there is a 2 buildings same. So like start and finish is different, means it's a unique product. And yeah, and here for the projects, we only, as a cost controller and as a planner, we will train only the cost control part in project planning, because we have project environment and then we have manufacturing environment also. For example, some companies like Apple, they do a project, they do prototype of Apple iPhone, let's say 17. This is a project, but production is not a project. It's a continuous set of activities. Sorry. So we are involved in the project environment, and then it involves the planning and control of the project activities such as cost and others. So which activities? So cost control and planning, we will have other fields also, such as documentation, contracts and others. We are all part of project controls department, where we have mainly let's say this is responsible for monitoring of the project progress, responsible for the cost, documentation, risks, and some legal matters, which is we have a different section which is called contracts department, let's say. And this department provides reliable information to the project manager. Why? Because project manager should decide on something, and they will decide based on the information we provide them. The next slide is about the project control department and which parts are there. So we talked about project management. Under project management, we have several departments, let's say procurement, we have human resource, we have others, and one of them is project control. And then inside the project control, we have several fields, such as planning and scheduling, cost control, contracts engineering, document control. For example, Alfia worked as a cost control in Kazakhstan, in Bonatti. Estimating in some companies risk management, and also reporting. I'm very sorry. Project life cycle. This is last slide about project management. Why we explain this? Because we will show that cost control and planning is part of, let's say, each life cycle. So we are involved in each step. So initiation, what we do in initiation, we prepare a feasibility analyze, we prepare the stakeholder list, and then we also do some prepare some goals, project goals, and then once everything's okay, we say the goals are set, feasibility analysis is done, stakeholders are happy to start with the project. We do the planning part of the project. So without even starting the project physically, we start the planning part, and then sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes 1 year. We prepare the plan in detail, considering the scope, cost, resource, risks, everything. And then once we say, now we are happy about the plan, we start execution. And then during the execution phase, of course, engineers, like construction guys, they perform the project. Doesn't matter whether it's like 1 year, 2 years, we still track and monitor everything. So this stage is not after execution, it is during all phase. So we still, as a cost control and planners, we still monitor and control each phase, whether they are doing their performance is on track, any issues are there, or are they managed, or do we need some adjustments based on the KPIs we prepare. Yeah, and then once everything is done, happy, physically the project is done, and we prepare some closeout reports, and then their cost controls and planners are also invited. So we prepare a closeout report, we prepare some lessons learned, handover phase, and then end the project. Now, what the cost controls do, Mehdi will explain about this.
Thank you. Thank you, Elshad. So hi again. So about the cost control, so as you can see from the title, so the cost control is a cost tracking, cost controlling process of the project. So I know that in some cases, in some companies, like cost control also involved in the not only in the project but in the operational part as well. So that's the main thing that I love this role, because you can implement your knowledge and your experience in different industry, in different companies without getting any like other information, other knowledge. So you can still do whatever you do in one company, you can go and do in another company as well. So for example, recently I have seen job posting in LinkedIn that Microsoft is looking for the OPEX cost controller. So that's mean that it's not only about the project, so it could be the operational part as well. I know like many people think that why we need cost control if we have the accountant and if we have the finance in the company. Eshad, if you can go to the next slide, please. So even the slide number 12, yeah. So yeah, so when I first joined one of the company in Azerbaijan, I get that question. Accountant approached me and asked, "What you do that I can't do that?" And there was like a hidden question under it that why you are here. So like, so they don't know what's cost control. So I just explained it easily that. So you as accountant and as a finance, you only work with the actuals that you see. So it's like based on the invoices that you receive. It's based on the payroll cost you see. But our view is much more wider than your. So when we track the spend, we don't only work with the actuals that same as you. So we also includes the accruals, which are the job done, but we haven't received the invoices. So that's the one of the main difference between us and the accounting finance. So the other, which is like beautiful part, that cost control is new, what the job actually is it. So when accountant is looking at the spend, looking at the actual, it's just looking to the invoice. It can read the title, but couldn't understand. And it's not important for them. But we, as a cost control, we are in the middle of the finance and in the middle of that engineering, let's say. If we don't know what's the job, what's the budget item is for, we could miss some cost. So what I mean is, for example, if we are in a meeting and we hear that there will be delay in something, let's say in some procurement, in some delivery, we should understand what will be the impact for the overall project, for the overall forecast. So as an accountant, it's not important for them, but for us, it's important. That's why we go to the sites. We go to the, for example, I spent my 4 years in working in the site in Baku. Then I was going almost every month to the offshore platform when it was like in the construction phase, when it was in the onshore. I was looking at all the facilities, all the equipment. I was just trying to understand, align it with my budget and etc. There is also difference in the working. So what we do, so as an accountant, they working with the reports, for example, tax reports, audit reports, and etc. But we do forecasting, which they don't do. So forecasting is one of the main part of the work that we do. We every month, every week, even every day, we are working on different scenarios of the project. It's not only the budget that we get in the beginning of the project. We are working on the different scenarios. So we are recalculating that scenarios and finance working on the economic side of that scenario. If it's like profitable, we go with that scenario. We're asking for the change and etc. So there is also difference in the tools. So for example, accountants has their own tools like SAP and like Oracle 1C. So it's enough for them where they track all their actuals. But we, as a cost control, we need also reporting model. So we do that with Ecosys. Like we do that with Microsoft Power BI. There is also a tool calling Prism. It's depend of the company, but more common is used is Ecosys and I will say Microsoft Power BI. But as a cost control, we also use SAP where we upload our accruals and where we download, export the actual and etc. information. So if you can go shop to the next slide. So you can ask, when do we need the cost controller in the project? Like, is it at the end of the stage, in the middle? So the question is, cost is needed before the project is started, and it will be needed when it's closed out. So what I mean, um, the project comes to the engineering, to the project management team as an idea. So it's not always coming as a ready pack of the project. So it's coming an idea. So it could be like a problem. It could be like something new. Like if, for example, if it's an oil offshore platform, we receive the information that there is a high pressure. We need to reduce it and whatever. So engineering working on a concept, we changing that concept into the numbers. So that's why we, before the project initiation, we are involved. So once we choose the scenario based on all the economical information and etc. We start a project. We do like monthly check-in and etc. You will see in the next slide that information. So we are also involved in execution. So I will say highly involved, because that's the main part. We are when we are using our more time, more efforts. So change management is something that we are always involved. So change management is when, as I mentioned, it's not only the budget that you have, you need to also track all your changes. It could be you are starting with 1 million budget, and at the end you will have 5 million. It could be vice versa. So we always tracking that change management, which is, like I will say, very responsible part of the cost control. Reporting, you do the reportings to your stakeholders, to your internal management. If you are contractor, you do it like for your clients, and close out. So when I mentioned that cost control even stays when the project is closed, so it means that cost control needs to reconcile all the actuals, all the costs that that you can receive after, because it's not always that invoice and some cost coming like directly at the same time. So sometimes you have negotiable costs that you need to wait. So yeah, if you can, they should go to the next slide. So these are the responsibilities that cost control do in its works. So as I mentioned, collecting actuals, that's something information coming from accountants. So accountants get that information from the third parties, payroll, etc. We get that information from the tools like SAP and 1S. So we are forecasting, as I mentioned. So we are working not only in one budget, we are always working in different scenarios, trying to find the most economically profitable, valid, best scenario. We are generating accruals. So how we do that, just briefly, every month at the end of the month, we are working with the end users. So when I say end user, I mean like who is the performing the job, who is the responsible for the job. We are trying to get the information that which job has been done. And if we see that we haven't received any invoice, we treat that cost as an accrual. And it's not only just to put the number. So we are signing on that accrual. So we generate one like document where the end user and ourselves, we are signing that number as an accrual, and this we show when the audit coming to check. So that what was the basis for that accrual. So budget monitoring, it's something that is like a book for us. It's like a mandatory book that we can't start the process without having the budget. So it's always like must that we need to compare our forecast, each scenario, with the budget, because if we exceed the budget, it could be economical, not anymore profitable. It could be vice versa. Variance analysis. So this is also another important part. So if we give a plan and we underspend every month, it could be badly impact for the company. If, for example, if you are a client, if you are asking from your partners some money for, let's say, for 25, and you are halfway spending of that, which gives bad impact for the partners, because they can invest that money in some other places and get more profit from that. That's why when we do variance analysis, we are trying to correct our forecast. We are trying to find where we are underspent or where we are overspent. We are trying to prevent that. We are trying to get more accurate forecast. So that's why we do variance analysis every month. Cost reporting is where we gather all that information, like our actuals, accruals, value of work done, our forecast, and we report based on that cost report to stakeholders, whatever it's asking from us. Engaging with end users, I mentioned that, so this is something we do every month. That's the main difference from the cost control from the finance, from the accounting, that we are always in a conversation, in a communication with the end user, with the project team, trying to understand what is the work, what is the coming as a risk, and what's the coming as an opportunity. So this is very important. So Eshad, if you can please go to the next slide. Change management, I touched on that already, that this is like a main responsible part of the cost control. So if we don't see the change management in time, we could end up not having budget to continue the work. So that's why it's always important to know when you will need an extra money, or if you will underspend the budget, so the company can, as I said, invest on something else. Commitment tracking is a process when you track all your third-party contracts. So you need to always follow not only your internal budget, but each budget for each third party. So for them, the budget is your contract, but for you, the budget is different. So you need to always carefully analyze the third party spend and their budget, so to understand where you will end up at the end. Cash flow management. So we have two kind of forecasting. So one is on an accrual basis, one is on a cash flow basis. So cash flow is when you need to know when your cost will be paid from the accounting perspective. So this is helpful for the company, because when you provide the cash flow, they knew how much they need to keep in their cash to pay for that expenses, so they can easily invest their remaining budget on something else. So that's why you need to give accurate cash flow management. Supporting audits, this is like happens quarterly, yearly basis, when the audits coming, checking what was the basis of the accruals, what was the basis of the cash flow management. So you have to always be ready to justify of your everything what you do. So as a system, as I mentioned, we are using different tools. So for example, in my current job, we are using Microsoft Power BI, and I'm also the one who builds models on my Microsoft Power BI, so I can help you. I can with that if you need the help. So Ecosys is also part that at the moment big companies trying to use. So we also will touch in our training course on that. And SAP, I will share the information about how to work with SAP, where to find the information that you are required, the transactions, working process, and etc. So risk and opportunity, that's the outcome of the engagement with the end user. So you based on the conversation with the end users, you are understanding if this is the risk or this is the opportunity. For the end user, it could be normal work, so they can ask another day for third party to be involved. For them, it's just another day. For you, it's a risk. So you need to always understand what is the risk and to implement in your forecast. The benchmark and lesson learned, this is something um, coming with the experience. So while you are working, you know that what kind of risk could be impacted in the future. Even, for example, if you do some job, some project, and you need to build a budget, so you need to know benchmark. So in the big companies, benchmarking has tools where you can find the information, but it's not always that the project is a like it has a benchmark. Like as Elshad mentioned, it's all the projects are unique, so it could be something that we never had the lesson learned before. So that's why benchmarking lesson learned is very important. And supporting procurement. It's not always procurement. We support many disciplines, but the procurement is the one that we are more commonly engaged. So we are getting from them information about the third parties. So they are getting from us the information when they need a work breakdown structure and etc. So we are like the discipline that we are working more is procurement, I will say. So Esha, please, if you can go to the next slide. And this is our course methodologies. Well, what we will talk if you will join our course. So we will have introduction to project management. This is the area where Elshad and me, we have a common. So work breakdown structure, how to create work breakdown structure, what's the best way, how to do the coding. So the reportings, all the reports that cost control do, which includes value book down, valuation, annual program and budget, risk opportunities, invoice checking, what the cost control needs to look in the invoice. So Excel formulas, the formulas that we are using in a daily basis. As I mentioned, Power BI, SAP EcoSys. So we'll talk about them. Contract types. So we have for example, like if the project is reimbursable, if the lump sum, it could be mixed. Like you can have with one contractor reimbursable contract, you can have with another one as a lump sum. So it's different from if you work as a contractor or as a client. So what is PAF? What is OPEX, CAPEX, earned value? So earned value is something that in some companies that's the provided by reporting team, not by the cost control, but we will talk about that as well. So cost types, direct, indirect, time writing process, how time writing works if you have many projects in the company. And at the end, if you want to prepare for the interview, we will help with that. So like in our previous trainings, so we helped the team to get prepared for the interviews. So yeah, basically, this is all about. Yes, sorry, I missed about the jobs and opportunities. Yeah, if you can go. Yeah, this is the job postings based on the LinkedIn and other tools that cost control has. So we can see, for example, in UK for the first half of the year, we had 1,200 cost controllers, 2,300 cost engineer, and you can see in the similar data in the right side for the Europe. And if you Elshad, you can go to the next slide, please. We have a snapshot. So in the last months, in LinkedIn, there was 278 job posting in UK only. So that's the area, that's the job that it's people, the companies are looking for. Yeah, if you can continue with the planning.
Yes, thank you very much, Mehdi, for the explanation. Also, at the end of the presentation, we will explain something about our course. Also, Mehdi highlighted that we will help about interview and other process, also certificates. We will talk about this. So for the planning, this is the last session of the presentation. It will be brief, like 5 minutes, and then we will have a question and answer sessions. So planning. So as we said, our let's say training will have two main fields: cost control and then project planning. And the cost control is explained by Mehdi. Now, what's project planning? So project planning is a phase that defines the advance when, how, and by whom the project activities will be executed. So when means time, how means the methodology, and then by whom means the resource. So we consider the time, we consider them the methodologies, and then we consider the resources and prepare the schedule for the projects, which of course which should be within the project criteria. So we prepare the project plan and include where we have resource allocation, where we also consider risk process, and then we prepare the scheduling. And of course, for successful projects, we need a successful proper plan, let's say. And then project planning helps the team coordinate team efforts and ensure the project is completed on time and within budget. So on time is planners, within budget, cost control. So means we work always together. Even while working with Alfia in Kazakhstan, we were always working together. So just a brief explanation about project planning. And you remember we explained 5 main phases of the project life cycle, and then planning as well as cost control is also included in all stages, all steps of the project life cycle. When you start initiating, you start some proposal or tender schedules or some high level schedules, we can say. And then once as we said, the project is defined to go for the planning. Actually, this should be planning, not execution. I had to correct this. In the planning, we prepare the detailed planning using Microsoft Project and Primavera P6. So both of them will be trained in our training sessions. So we will work with Microsoft Project and also Primavera P6. So at the end of the project planning training, you will be capable of using Primavera P6, Microsoft Project, and some essential, let's say, formulas of Microsoft Excel. So we will use the resources, allocate resources, we will build a baseline, and then we will work on the critical path. So during execution, we will monitor the baseline, and then we will update the schedule. So during the execution, let's say we have a building there, and then let's say we have concrete works like 1000 meter cubes, and then we have used 100 meter cubes. Then we will update it as 10%. Sometimes in material part, we will update the amount. As I said, monitoring and controlling is throughout all the phase. And then we will update forecasts there. For example, we are doing good by the in terms of cost, we are doing good in terms of resources, but what about timeline? So we will measure this. Are we good on timeline? Are we good? Are we tracking? I mean, are we following the main baseline? Are we late? Are we early, or spending more, spending less? This kind of information we will prepare. And also we will analyze risks, impact of change, because it's a project and then there will be always change, and then we will always try to see the impact of the change. And then during the closeout, we will prepare the closeout report, final report, closeout report, and as build schedules. Why we do this? Of course, for final report, it's like for audits and then for the client, but as build schedules, it's like for us, for clients, also for the people working, let's say 20 years after us. So they will have something lessons learned. So means if you work as a planner or a controller, you will start from the beginning of the project and then you will end up with the conclusion of the project. So you have work. You don't have temporary. You have like work. If a project starts, you have like 3-4 years work. And what we will use Primavera P6, Microsoft Project, and essential skills of Microsoft Excel in our course. So I just want to explain some key roles and responsibilities of project planning. I don't go in detail, but for example, development of the plan. So development of the plan, I can put like tracking the resources, allocating the resources, or let's say taking risk into consideration and other. But as a name, development of the plan. As a planner, what will ask you? They will ask to prepare a plan. And then critical path analysis. They will ask you to do analyze or critical path, which also will lead to the risk analysis. So resource planning, they will ask you resources because they will ask you how many people do we need for the next, let's say, 5 months in Kazakhstan working with Alfia. They were asking me about the amount of the concrete for the next month each time, because they were saying we need to procure, to order the concrete beforehand, but we have to know how much. Otherwise, if we order more, we cannot use this concrete, because concrete, the supplier just comes and just pours the concrete and goes back. So if it's more, we will waste it. So you have to give something proper. And then progress monitoring and reporting, of course, is there. You will always monitor that, okay, with this, let's say, pace, with this performance, you will end up completing the project like 1.5 years late. So which is in term, which is which is also let's say a fine from the client. They can fine you. Of course, updates and communications. During the communication, you will do all the communication because you are the data center. You have all information, how many people, how much money, or how what time, and everyone will come and ask you about the data. And you will also prepare alternative plans, recovery plans, or rebaseline plans. Also, you may do 2 plans for a project, one for client, one for subcontractors. It's up to the environment. Okay, so in our course, what will be there? We have a detailed plan, and then we have successfully completed our 6th course. Now we want to move to Europe and then do our 7th course. So next one. So we have everything detailed there. We will, of course, together with cost control, we will explain the project management one day, and then we will start using Primavera P6. So together with cost control, they for example, Mehdi also will explain you the tools, and then you will work with them. So with us also, you as a, let's say, planner, we will start Microsoft Project or Primavera P6, developing a schedule, a proper schedule. So once we learn each item, we will apply them in P6, each of them. So at the end of the day, you will have, at the end of the course, you will have a well-prepared, well-developed schedule that I would say even 50% of the planners cannot do, because planners normally they go to a ready developed plan and then they just do reports. But here you will learn how to prepare a plan, which sometimes takes 6 months to prepare a plan. Critical path methodology, resource and cost, even 2 days for them. We will work on EVMs, earned value management, and then 2 days for this, and then you will see this performance analyzed there. You will see the measurement, performance measurement baseline, or what we call it, reports. And then we will again work on Primavera skills. At the end of the day, we will have analysis, some delay analyze, some other analyze, and then last reporting. You will learn, we will share you with our, let's say, 10+ years of experience, and then our reports. Final exam, we will give you Oracle, let's say gold partner certificate, because Oracle doesn't give. Primavera is an Oracle tool, Oracle Primavera P6, but they don't directly give a certificate. They give a partnership to companies, and then the companies, the partners, give the certificate. So we are partner with Oracle, and then we will give you with Oracle certificate. And then we will have a final exam, of course. At the end of the course, we will prepare you for the interviews. The key questions, what to answer, what to not answer, what to ask, what not to ask, and this kind of information. And even after completing our course, like 2 months after you write us that, Elshad, now I have an interview on, let's say, for the Netherlands or for Germany, I'm planning. Can you please help me? Of course, sure. We will have a WhatsApp group which will be active for lifetime. Job markets. I don't mention Azerbaijan because this was for Azerbaijani, let's say, attendees. But Middle East, we have lots of people working in the Middle East. Even in Kazakhstan, I worked with some guys, and they are working in Middle East right now. Some Orhan Namazov, Alfiya, you know, or Inkari herself. Europe, yes, job market is very high in Europe because they need specific planners and cost controllers. For example, Mehdi was working in Azerbaijan, now he's working in London, UK, in BP. Why? Because they need Mehdi. Also, me in the Netherlands, they have ruled that because in Europe, when you want to go to Europe or UK or USA, they first search the people inside. If they cannot find, they hire from outside Europe. For example, if you apply for Germany, just keep in mind that for this position, the HR had searched Germany. They couldn't find, they searched for Europe. They couldn't find, then they will hire you. But cost controls and planners, we are limited. There are lots of positions, but limited planners and cost controls. So they easily hire you. Also, in UK, there's an occupation shortage list that for these let's say positions, they don't search internally, and then if they don't find, they go for outside. They directly can hire from outside, and planners are also there. So easy to find a job in Europe. All you need is the skills and then the knowledge, which we will provide you. US also is a market. We have some friends working there, but US is a bit far from us. But again, planning engineering and then cost controllers, this is a job that you will do the same everywhere in the world. So it is not an HR job so that you know only, let's say, UK legislations, and then you can only work in UK. No, cost control, as a cost controller or planner, you will be able to apply your knowledge everywhere in the world. Just the postings, planning roles in UK, huge. For Europe is also huge. And before the meeting, just 2 hours before the meeting, I searched the LinkedIn about planning positions, and then Europe, it's like 2,500, but I would say in the Netherlands, it's even a bit less, but 1,200, 300, I would say, active for the last month. It's just huge. And then, I mean, when I see that like 20 guys applied, because the planners have already a job here in Europe, and then they search for cost controls and plans they cannot find. That's why, for example, for the Netherlands, if you come, even to hire you, in my case, they just said they have some rules that some amount of my salary is not taxed. This is just, let's say, a motivation for people to come here. They tax all salary of the local people, but they don't tax my portion of the salary because they want me to come here. So it's easy to come to Europe or Middle East. You just need skills and knowledge, which we will help you. Okay, the price information. And before this, I want, together with price, I want to mention about the methodology of the course. For example, we will work with, we will start from August, mid of August, and there will be maximum 5 or 6 people in one course, and it will be online. Why we choose online? Because we are international, ProMentor International. And also online course is very easy to learn, because when you are in the office and then you are 6 guys and then someone asks a problem, you go there, you help, but no one else will be aware of this problem. But online, when someone has a problem, he can or she can easily share her screen, and then others also will take these lessons learned. So it's very beneficial to have online course. And then we will record all videos, and then we will place it in YouTube, but private, and give you access. So no one else can see this video because you are there, and you can only have the access to the video. And then you will place like on which time starts scheduling, on which time starts like let's say risk analyze, and it will be easy for you. And then we will have all materials in Google Drive, and then we give you a lifetime access to these materials. And then we have a WhatsApp group that you will have lifetime access, and it will be always active, and you can ask, you can any question, any information. So what's our price list? Our price list is €1,000, but we can have some discounts for you. It is not per month, it is just per the course. And you can pay this like 3 times when we start, when we have 1 month completed, and when you get the certificates. You can take both courses and it will be €1,500. And still you can have 10% discount if you come from webinar. And also if you refer this webinar to someone else and he comes, we have still 10% discount. So lots of discounts. We can agree on the money that, but the main is information. Just keep in mind that you can pay €100,000 for planning or cost control, right? But when you find a job, it will be minimum 4 or 5, let's say, it's up to the countries, of course, but in Europe, minimum you will start from €3,000. So your payment is just 1/3 of your salary, and you pay this for one time, and then you get the salary for lifetime. That's why it's a huge investment for your life. It is when you start working, you will see that it's very little money compared to your salary. And then you have a huge experience then afterwards, and a huge career. Thank you very much for participating. Now we start the Q&A session. And then if anyone has the answer, a question. So Zarina,
Yes.
Mehdi,
If you can, I can cover this one. So yeah, I see the question from Zarina about what's the difference between cost control and cost engineer. So the main difference is the process, is the way of working. So cost engineer is working more wider. So it do estimating as well, forecasting as well, working on different scenarios. But as a cost control, it's you just monitor, you're just tracking whatever you have a budget, and you are more commonly involved in the execution part. But in this course, I will share both roles, jobs and responsibilities so the way of working and etc. So you will if you will join, you will get both knowledge for the cost engineer and the cost control.
Okay, thank you.
Also, I want to add something to Mehdi. Mehdi is has explained great. That cost engineers, just keep in mind that engineers do something better than the specialists. So if there's a cost engineer, these people do more than cost controllers. Same for project planners and project planning engineers. And normally when they hire you for an engineering position, they ask your diploma. And then if you cannot you can still work as a cost controller or project planner without graduating any university, but you will not be able to work as a cost engineer or project planning engineer if you don't have diploma. Again, engineers, they do more wide activities than the specialists. Alfia, who is this course for beginners or not? That's a great question. What if I don't have experience as a planner or cost control itself? Can I get a job after a course? So this course is for all of them, all people, just beginners, or because as I explained, for cost controlling or for project planning, the course content is very wide. And for example, even for creating an activity ID, we spend some time to learn how to create just ID. And then we just how to name the activities. So for beginners also, this is new, this is a big information, but you don't still need any experience on cost controlling or project planning. We will give you all information. For job, let's say in terms of jobs, we don't guarantee you that you will find, but our, let's say, students, um, some of them currently are working in Europe, in the Netherlands, that we have referred. There is a student that right now in the interview process in Europe, in the Netherlands. We will help you, of course, but this information still will help you to find a job in your own country and also in Europe. We don't guarantee, of course, a job. We are not a recruitment company. We are an education company, but you will be 5-6 steps ahead of the people searching for the jobs in the Europe. So you will have a great, let's say, how we say, üstünlük, how to say, advantage. I just forgot. You will have a huge advantage on this process, and then it's because within 6 months, whoever applies for Europe and just insists, it's an experience that within 6 months they find, good or bad, they find a job, and then they come to Europe, they come to UK, they come to Middle East, there they change a better job. So again, you will be 6 steps, 5 steps ahead of the people who search. And then I can see okay, I can see in job requirements they usually need 10 years experience. Okay, Alfia, you're right. They also need 10 years experience. They also need 5 years experience. But it is a requirement in the advertising, because in our, let's say in Azerbaijan also, also in Europe, when the companies give, let's say, advertising or job posting, let's say, they have to put something there which is government rule. For this position, sometimes company rules. This position, we have 5 years experience. We need 10 years experience, but they don't even care about your diploma. They care about your knowledge. They will have 1 hour, 1.5 hours interview session. If you pass this interview session, they don't even care about your diploma or before experience. They just need your knowledge. They have to convince that you have to convince them that you can do this job. And after this course, we guarantee that you can even convince everyone that you can do this job. Then you start the job. We will still support you in the start. In Middle East, in Europe, everywhere. For example, Alfia, the lady that working with us in Kazakhstan, Inkar, she's working in Abu Dhabi right now. So it's very easy to go there. You just need skills, and I think she's working as a planner there. She asked some help. I remember that I helped her a bit. And then she doesn't have this, no, I would say from this course content, she has probably 30% of the knowledge, but still enough to get a job in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi, for a good money, because it's a tax-free country. Yes.
Also, just I want to add, it's not only like when you are applying to the job. Sometimes, like I know the people who were just changing their role within the company, and they were applying within the company to other role, and because of the knowledge that they got, they pass it. And for example, I know the case, like even in BP, and Zarina in the call, she knew her as well, that she was a HSE and she applied to planning, so she gets some knowledge from the planning, and she passed. Now she's a planning engineer. So you don't know when you will get that chance. So I understand it's not easy to apply for a job in the Middle East which has 10+ year experience, but yeah, you never know when the chance will come.
Yeah.
And
There's
also,
a formula. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, just quickly add the question about the beginners, or not only. So we will start as a beginner, but if you want, for example, like let's say super user knowledge on the model, on like specific model, like for example Ecosys, we can organize that, so you will get like deeper knowledge, super user knowledge.
Yes. Also, there is a formula that you should also keep in mind in every stage of your life. Success equals to opportunities plus preparation. So if there is I bet you all had a chance in Middle East or Europe, some like you received something from LinkedIn. I bet you all received something, but you didn't apply. Maybe you applied, you couldn't, because you were not prepared for this. So you will have always these opportunities. You will have always this chance that they will ask. When you are ready, you will combine readiness and opportunity, and you will make it success. So we will help you to make to be prepared when the chance comes. When the opportunity just knocks your door, you should be prepared. We will help you to be prepared. Miracle. Yes, Alfia. Yeah, any other question?
Another question from Alfia: how long the course lasts?
Good
Each.
question.
Yeah.
Alfia, for planning, it's 16 days, but not consecutive days. It's every week we will have 2 days, and then it's 32 hours total. It lasts 8 weeks, and then 8 weeks, 2 months. For the cost control, if I go back, yeah, Mehdi will explain.
Yeah, it's 13 days and 26 hours. So as Ershad mentioned, so it's not, so it's like 2 months course, let's say. But if you will take both of them, that will be like synchronized, I would say, courses. So for example, you will not get common topics from the each. Like you will have one introduction to project management in each. So like another example, if for example I will explain about WBS structure, the next class Elshad will explain how it works in Primavera and etc.
Section.
Okay.
How long the course lasts? Yeah, each. Yeah, same of yeah. And other question. We had lots of questions from our previous session.
Yeah.
About the timeline, about the middle of August. Yes, actually, we are planning to start middle of August, and we will have advertising going through the LinkedIn and Facebook. Of course, you will see there. But if you come from webinar, there will be a discount. So middle of August is our target. But if you are alone, we will try a bit 10 more days, let's say, and then there will be you alone or 2 or 3 of you. We will still start the course. Doesn't matter you are 5 or 6 or 3 or 2. We will start the course because it's a deadline. Yeah, we can say middle of August and then late 25th of August, something like this. If we have, we will just wait a bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other question? There is another person. There was that Obekur? Okay. There was another guy.
Not anymore. No.
Not anymore.
And
Yes.
there's another question. Can you share the plan of the course?
Okay. For which course? This is for cost control.
We can share both.
Later, okay.
Okay.
This is wait. This is actually our, let's say, intellectual properties. But still, when you enter, you have this Promentor International. Okay, this is our website. You need cost controlling, you go there, and then you will see all models there. Okay, same as for planning engineering, you will go there, you will have all models there. Okay, same. So Promentor International, promentorint.com, and then which is in the emails that we have sent you. Also, this slide, we will share this slide, and then you have this information. We will add it here. So you will have this information. No, keep. Yeah. Any question? Other? Yeah, both are there in the website, and also we will send you this slides. Of course, you will have these slides and then the link for the website. Alfia is writing. Alfia, you can ask also. That's great. Okay. Okay, nice. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah.
No more question. I will stop recording.
Yeah, you can stop recording because we are less also.